Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video, and while we have rinsed LR Golden Frieza throughout Red Zone and he's performed exceptionally well, we're also going to be taking him into Extreme Super Battle Road, which I still want to do content on. As I say, ESBR is always being updated, so is Super Battle Road. It's constantly somewhat keeping up where the current meta is, so I still want to make content on it. And also, LR Golden Frieza is ideally built for the likes of ESBR. You know, every turn he's losing 10% of his damage reduction. You're never in an ESBR fight for longer than 5 at a push 6 turns, which means he's not even going to lose all of his damage reduction for the most part. And even if he does, that's literally 1 turn he's not going to have his full damage reduction for. So I do still think ESBR is viable to make content on, just because it's always being updated. I know it's not as difficult as Red Zone, but it still does have some form of challenge. And as I said, with how Golden Frieza's kit is, he is literally almost perfectly made, if not perfectly made, for ESBR. As I said, every turn he's using his 10% damage reduction, whether he's on rotation or not. As I said, you're never usually in an ESBR fight or any Super Battle Road fight for 5 turns, no more than 6, which by that point he would have lost all of his extra damage reduction, gone down to the standard 30%, which that's 1 turn potentially he doesn't have his full damage reduction, where you're probably about to finish the fight and go into the next one, where of course the fight is going to reset, he's going to get all that damage reduction back. So I do think this is like his perfect place, his perfect spot with how his kit is designed. So we're definitely going to try him out. I'm going to pop a Whis just because of how many strength attacks are coming towards Meta Cooler's way. And then we'll carry on attacking King Vegeta just to make sure he's gone. So yeah, his kit is like perfectly constructed for ESBR. And considering you're going to have LR Final Form Cooler on the same rotation as LR Golden Frieza, you might not even make it 5 turns deep into a fight. It may be quicker. You know, Wicked Bloodline is the most recent ESBR stage you can attempt with LR Golden Frieza on the team. And we all know how good LR Final Form Cooler is and how much damage he can do. So you may not even be 5 turns in. You may be 4 to 5 turns in, which, as I said, even more so, you won't ever see LR Golden Frieza run out of his full damage reduction if that's the case, if you're getting those additional supers, if you're hitting crits. That's the same applies to any other units you're bringing on the team as well. Maybe not so much the team I've brought, because for the most part the damage dealers are kind of pretty much LR Final Form Cooler. Golden Frieza as well, because a 7 million attacks at 55% is still pretty good, especially with a built-in additional as well, as long as our HP is above 50% or more. Metal Cooler, once he's fully built up as well, does some solid damage, but the main actual out-and-out big damage dealer is of course LR Final Form Cooler. But there's enough damage on this team, even though what we've brought is a lot of defensive units, all the Golden Friezas. There's enough here to where, as I said, we may not even make it to turn 5. We may make it to turn 4, which, as I said, Golden Frieza won't even have lost all of his damage reduction at that point. So, you know, you won't have to worry about him not being able to tank as well as he can. And then not to mention, also is ESBR. It's not Red Zone. You know, while ESBR does hit pretty hard nowadays, and of course, again, is constantly being updated to hit very hard. And, you know, you could be hit by a super attack that does 300k damage. Of course, in Golden Frieza's case, he's taking double digits even on supers. But, you know, the super attacks can catch you in ESBR. They can do a lot of damage even on basics, of course. It's just not on that Red Zone level. So, with that being said, even if LR Golden Frieza is losing the majority of his damage reduction, unlike Red Zone, where again, as he gets older, and especially at 55%, you'll see some cracks in terms of how much damage he takes, especially pre-18 key super, where he does raise his attack and defense by 30%. Because after he does that, even with 30% damage reduction, he can still tank all of basics in Red Zone for pretty much double digits. He can tank supers quite well, especially with a Whis active. In ESBR, that's probably not going to be the case. You probably won't see that, just because you're not being hit by, like, you know, 900k, over 1 million supers in ESBR. You won't have to worry about Golden Frieza losing the damage reduction, because he'll never be taking that much damage, even when you are down to the base 30% damage reduction. And this is what I mean about how well suited he is to ESBR. And again, I know everyone's focused on the hyper, super difficult content. I get that, you know, Red Zone, however many new stages and events come out for that as well. We need to rotate you off. So let me do that, and then let me pop an Icarus. But yeah, I know everyone's so hyper focused on, you know, Red Zone and stuff and the hyper difficult content, and you want to see if all the new units, etc., new EZAs can compete in there. I get that. But as I said, ESBR is still constantly being updated as well. As I said, it's just not as difficult as Red Zone and whatever else Dokkan may release. So I still think it's worth bringing units in here, just because, as I said, it's being forever updated and will forever be updated as far as Dokkan goes, with all the new category stages they're going to release. And it's constantly going to get harder and harder. It's just not on the upper echelon levels of difficulty that Red Zone is on, and then potentially Cell Max, if you want to include that as well. I personally don't. Like, only the top 1% of units can actually compete in the Cell Max event. Like, the specific Cell Max event, his own event. So I don't really like to do that, because not many units can actually compete in there. But in terms of Red Zone, I know that's where everyone wants to see how the units perform, including myself, and I do a lot of Red Zone content. But I do still think it's worth bringing units in ESBR, especially if they're, as I've said with LR Golden Frieza multiple times at this point, since how well suited to ESBR he is, with him losing his damage reduction, how quickly he can build up, and how little time you are in ESBR, you know, with the built-in additional, as long as you have your HP at 50% or above, which, as you've been seeing so far, especially with how many defensive units we've got on this team, you know, all 3 Golden Friezas, which, you know, have all that damage reduction. Even LR Final Form Cooler, with the amount of, you know, if he's getting off the additional supers, he has pretty solid defense. LR Metal Cooler has not bad defense once he's built up as well. You know, maintaining that 50% HP or above, and especially with LR Metal Cooler's healing as well. And on a Wicked Bloodline stage where we can have 2 LR Metal Coolers, which means we're constantly healing every other turn. Maintaining that HP threshold is incredibly easy, especially when we're not taking as much damage as we do in Red Zone. Making sure Frieza constantly has that built-in additional popping off, and the extra 100% attack and defense, which, you know, while he does pretty good, decent damage anyway in Red Zone, of course he's doing a bit better damage here. So obviously it's not as difficult, units don't have as much damage reduction, not as much defense, not as much HP. And that way we can build up his passive a lot quicker with the built-in additional to get the extra defense plus 50%, extra key, so we're consistently hitting 18 keys. And then not only that, just like Red Zone, there are multiple attacks in ESBR. He's going to be in slot 1 tanking all of them. And because there's multiple attacks in ESBR and there's multiple enemies, which means even more attacks, building up that part of his passive where he gets the extra key plus 2 and attack plus 50% for receiving 5 attacks. Again, you'll probably most likely get done in turn 1 at a push. The first attack you receive in turn 2, just like Red Zone. So immediately he's going to be doing as much damage as you want him to do, or at least, you know, pretty quickly anyway. And yeah, this is what I mean. This is why I would still make content around ESBR, just because, again, it's forever being updated. And again, like Golden Frieza's case, while he is absolutely amazing in Red Zone, his kit is so well designed for ESBR, I couldn't not bring him in here. Like, he's doing good damage in here. He's going to be tanking everything for next to nothing, like he has been, even when he has lost the majority, if not all, of his damage reduction. And as I said, he's just so well suited for ESBR, and so far this has been kind of a breeze. Not to mention, he also has his active skill, which will do okay damage because he's at 55%. It won't do that much though. But it's just been kind of a breeze. Like, it generally has been an absolute breeze. Yeah, I'm gonna target Trunks. Yeah, I'm gonna target Trunks, because knowing Cooler will probably absolutely just sweep Vegeta by himself if those additional supers can pop. Like, look how many attacks are in slot 1. We're going to get the extra key plus 2 and attack plus 50% literally this turn because of the amount of attacks that are coming in slot 1. Because of the amount of enemies in ESBR, which means we're hitting 6.5 million attack stats turn 1 like that. So that's how easy it is to build him up in ESBR. Of course, the same can be applied to Red Zone. Again, we're hitting the additional, which is going to help build up his key plus 2 and defense plus 50%. course, the defense isn't as crucial as it here compared to ESBR, because of course the ESBR doesn't hit as hard as Red Zone, but the extra key is definitely helpful at consistently hitting 18 keys and just helping him do extra damage. But that's how easy it is to build him up in ESBR. It's easy to build him up in Red Zone, but that's how easy it is to build him up in here as well. And these are the scenarios where I really wish I had dupes in my final form cooler so we could hit some more additional supers, but more importantly some crits. That guy hit 3 additionals and none of them were super attacks. Ah, sad times. But the video ain't about him, so it doesn't really matter. But sad times. But yeah, we've absolutely flown through. Absolutely flown through. I mean, it doesn't really surprise me, especially because of how much love Wicked Bloodline was kind of shown at the back end of last year. When you think about some of the units that dropped, you know, you're looking at the likes of LR Final Form Cooler himself. You also got LR Meta Cooler, LR Golden Frieza was already out on JP, but by the time he came out on Global, you already have those 2 units. Wicked Bloodline also has a 200% lead. Then when you consider the team that the 200% lead that LR Final Form Cooler leads, LR Golden Frieza fits onto that, and so does LR Meta Cooler as well. And then the units that go on that team, you know, you're looking at LR Janemba, still pretty good, you know, defensive unit up to this day. You know, you have normal Janemba, as long as you get in the orbs, you know, you have the guard, the support. EZA Transforming Cooler as well. Wicked Bloodline and Terrifying Conquerors got shown a lot of love last year, going into this year. And this is why it's currently probably still the strongest villain team in the entire game. Great defense, good damage output, good support. The healing with Metal Cooler, which helps Golden Frieza a lot, as I said, maintain that 50% HP or above threshold to keep them 100% attack and defense, which means he's consistently hitting his 18 key, which means you're getting the 30% attack and defense raise as well, which is a lot more crucial in Red Zone to have the extra defense, as I already mentioned. But then it just helps him do extra damage, which you're never going to complain about considering how good of a defensive unit he actually is. And what a better way to probably end... Actually, will we end this? We'll see. What a better way to probably end this than LR Golden Frieza hitting a Dokkan attack. Goku's lost a little bit of health, but we're then going to get the guaranteed additional because we have full health because of LR Meta Cooler's healing and the amount of good defensive units we got on the team. But what a better way to end it than with Frieza himself. Yep, he's not even going to need to hit the additional. And there we go. That is Frieza tested out at every event in the game. I know I haven't taken him into Cell Max. As I said, I just don't really like Cell Max event personally, just because only the 1% can handle that. But yeah, he is literally almost perfectly constructed for the likes of ESBR. His damage reduction would never be an issue there, even with some of the future stages that are yet to come out, and for ESBR to update and get more difficult. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next video, guys, and peace!